Grand Hood Rising, Kings and Queens, Trap Witch here in Atlanta, Georgia, coming to bring you a full moon in Sagittarius reading. For those of you who don't know me already, my name is the Trap Witch. I am a spiritual healer / intuitive reader on Instagram. You can find me, the Trap Witch, TheTrapWitch, on Instagram. I usually only come on here to do full moon or new moon readings and occasionally something that I feel compelled to talk about. But on a daily basis, I offer intuitive healing sessions with people. I don't like to consider myself a light worker or really a shadow worker. I do consider myself more of a bridge to bring people from the shadows back to the light, although being able to move through the shadows requires you not to be afraid of them. So I feel that with my work, I help people confront their shadows and confront the dark so that they can navigate more clearly through it, and they can get to the other side, and they can learn to trust themselves, and they can even learn to trust their own intuition a little bit more, because to get in touch with your intuition, you can't be afraid to go into the dark. You can't be afraid to go within. You can't go deeper in your spiritual path without at some point overcoming that fear of the dark. So I wanted to come and bring you a full moon in Sagittarius reading. The Sagittarius full moon from this month is going to be called the flower moon. It has a lot to do with fertility. They also call it, I believe, the like planting corn moon, where it has a lot to do with you know, coming into your harvest later on, things that you want to really let go, and so that you can allow things to bloom in your life. For me, I love that I chose this exact time to come sit on the porch and give you the reading without being too, you know, overly sharing. I am a full moon cycler, and women who are more aligned with the full moons have darker high priestess energies. And as I came out onto the porch, I had to run back in because it was like right in that moment, and that means so much to me, to be aligned in nature with the moon, especially as a practicing witch, to be aligned with that divinity so that I can use myself as a clear vessel, as I can use myself as a clear portal to transfer these messages, especially messages that might help you overcome your darknesses at this time. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into the reading. I'm going to be reading from the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot by Sally Ann Glassman. What we're going to do is we're going to pull 5 cards from that, and then we're going to pull 1 complementing card from the Doreen Virtue Archangel deck, and then I'm probably going to wrap it off with my own guided meditation, just to help you release whatever it is that they says that we need to address at this time. Okay, so if you can, let's take a few deep breaths. 3. That's 2, right? Look at me. 3. 1. 2. 3. And I want to encourage you, if you want to go ahead and get a notebook and take notes, just so you can go back to this. And a lot of the things that I say doesn't necessarily have to be for today. It can resonate to you later on, but always reminiscing on different energies that you felt at different times, especially when the moon was in a certain sign, can help you. So let's go ahead and let's get into this reading. Spirit, we call you in on behalf of the collective. We ask for the highest good of all those involved with harm to none. I ask Alegua to open the roads to precise messages. I ask at this time, what is it subconsciously below the surface, beyond the veil, that you can guide them to, with the moon being full in Sagittarius, the flower moon, for May 29th, 2018. What energies should we be addressing at this time? What guidance do you have to overcome barriers and obstacles of our path up until this point, so that we may move forward in grace and humility and elegance, and so that we can ascend to the next level of our path? I call in the Egun, the ancestors, the ascended masters, the angels of benevolence only, and ask where should we point our intentions and attention at this time so that we could be of maximum potential energy with the best execution, knowing how to use our energies in our better good and for the betterment of others. Okay, go ahead and cut it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First card we have Nanan Baclou La Flambeau. It shows a person with a blow dart, and they are influencing the heads of those around them. This is a card of influence. How do you aim to influence people around you? Okay? A lot of times, true influencing does not take having to move yourself too much. And with that being said, we can be an influence of great capacity to people just based on how we move. Sometimes it's not what we say, it's how we say it. Sometimes it's not that we're moving, it's how we're moving. It's not, you know, getting people to listen to us, but it's being worth listening to. It's not being well known, but worth knowing. At this time in your life, are you an influence to others in the capacity that you wish to be? How easy is it for you at this time to influence others? One of the things that a lot of people have a hard time with, and I have this is something with a lot of my clients that has been coming up this week. Why am I worth listening to? Why would anyone want to listen to what I have to say? Because a lot of people are going through the same shit as you. And you'll never know how you influence others until you realize that you want to be a change in the world that you wish to see. So many of us feel like our voice is so small that us, one person in a population of billions, has no effect. Last year at this time, I thought my voice did not matter to people until I sat on this porch and I didn't care who heard my voice, but I simply used it. And my following grew from 5,000, now nearing 50,000. In 1 year, the number of people that came to listen to my voice increased by 10. And sometimes we just need to use our voice regardless of who we think is listening. Sometimes we just need to do what we need to do regardless of who is watching, because we never know who is watching. And when we don't know who is watching, therefore someone who might be watching tells someone else, you know what, they are worth watching, we all need to watch them, and so we can go therefore watch ourselves. So many of us pay other people attention more than we pay ourselves attention. And what I do love about being an influencer in the world, especially in modern technology, is that if you use your influence for good, you can affect people in a way that your influences them to then change their lives. Because sometimes the problem is people don't know how to take their life from one level to the next. They can't imagine that being that the past that they come from or the things that they've gone through, that they can come into a brand new way of being. And the thing that people have to realize is that all of your solutions lay in your problems. If you become more solution oriented, you will know that all of your problems have a direct influence on the solution. Cause and effect. Because I went through this, this has affected me in this way, and now this is an influence for me to now change my life, because no matter what I've gone through, I am not a product of it, but the product of my being to elevation and ascension is a product of all the trials and tribulations that I have gone through, and it is the thing that has sharpened my tools to now become a master builder of what I am building as a purpose in this life. But the problem is people get stuck in the in-between, right? The Four of Wands is the second card. But in this deck, it's called Ague La Flambeau. It shows a boat that's going over hot lava. And it says that the boat can make it. It's just going to take a lot. But that boat is constructed with some good, hard labor. Okay? It's reverse. Four of Wands in the traditional tarot shows a couple that have just gotten married, and they're going to a celebration, a happy home in the background. So many people don't think that they can have that picture. You can have that picture. This is your home while you're here on this earth. And in order to find a happy home and a celebration within your being, you have to ask yourself, what hard labor do I have to put in order to make that picture? And what I tell a lot of the people that I work with, it's that you haven't even painted yourself in that picture yet. And there we go again. There's the solution to the problem. Okay? That is the solution to the problem. Painting the picture. Where do you want to be 5 years from now? What does that picture look like? Today, maybe you might need to sit down there and paint it. Shit, where the fuck do you want to be in September, October, November, December? If you can't think that far ahead of 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, paint where you want to be in December 2018. And if the picture of where you want to be at is really where you want to be, you're going to have to start eliminating things that's going to not be of influence of you being painted into that picture. You're gonna have to start figuring out what's it gonna take to make sure that you become a part of it. If you want a better job, if you want a better relationship, if you want a better way of life, you want whatever, you're gonna have to start painting that picture and painting yourself into it. And sometimes that requires you leaving some of the things behind that's holding you back from being in that picture. What is right now an influence against you having that happy picture? Because sometimes where we're trying to go, we can't take the way of things that were influencing us before. What's your inspiration? What do you pull from? Okay? Sometimes we get so stuck in the cycle of what has been influencing our life up until this point, whether it be all the... And sometimes so many people are already becoming a part of that picture, and they're having a hard time letting go the things that influenced them up until that point to that picture. I've had a hard time with that recently. Letting go parts of me that don't no longer serve me, that no longer have an influence on my life, but I still think that it does. Sometimes you got to use things for what it's worth and then let it go. Sometimes when you're painting a picture, the picture doesn't require any more of one certain color, right? Sometimes when we paint a picture and we're so used to being painted in the picture that's nothing but clouds, we don't even realize how much less of the color black that we have to use, because ain't no more clouds in our life. But so many of us are used to just constantly painting back in the clouds. And if you don't want your life to be consumed with clouds, then you got to put the black down. You got to put that paintbrush down. You got to stop painting them in there. And so now you have to ask yourself, moving forward, what tools within you do you have to paint that picture of where you're going? How are you going to positively influence that? Because your gal, Santeria, your gal, this card comes up. And who are these in the picture? These are the warriors. You have Oksum, Elegua, Ogun, and Ochozi. Who are they? In Santeria, the warriors are the second, pretty much like the second form of initiation that you get to make sure that you are now capable to move forward in your power to start developing the changes in your life that you need. They're tools. But all of these things are within you. Elegua can be associated to your consciousness. Ogun can be associated to your perseverance and your warrior spirit. And Oksum will be associated to your intuition. And, I'm sorry, intuition or your lookout, you know, because he's a lookout. And Ochozi would be set as your intention. For me, Ochozi stands out the most right now with Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is defined as the archer, and we're going to be in the full moon in Sagittarius. One thing I like about Ochozi is that it talks about wherever Ochozi marks that arrow, it's not going to miss its mark. And so for your intentions of where you want to be, like I said, in December, in a year, and whatever, you're going to have to set that intention. You're going to have to stick to it. And you're going to ask yourself, what is stopping me from having an influence of being painted into that picture and fulfilling that intention? Okay? This is going to have a lot to do with your willpower. Because the Loco card comes up. This is the Emperor card. The Emperor, masculine energies, right? So many of us have negative masculine energy because we will let our will work against ourselves when it talks about in that card that willpower is a healing energy. What do you do with your will? So many people are strong-willed to say they can't, I won't, I can't paint myself in that picture, I don't have it in me. It's like a stubbornness and a resistance to doing what you need to do to be a positive influence to yourself and to others. Sometimes that strong will is just saying, you know what, I can't, I won't put myself out there to be vulnerable and to be an influence to other people. What, like I said, what impact can I have in the world? What can I do? You could do a lot. The fact is, sometimes just wanting to do it for yourself without thinking about what you're doing for other people, that's the start right there. But the thing is, with the last card, Eight of Swords, the Radasimbi card, an overuse of power leads to a petty end, or an overuse of magic leads to a petty end. Sometimes this overuse of magic can be simply using your magic against yourself to put you in a victimized position. Okay? Or even with this, sometimes we're too strong-willed trying to force ourselves to be of influence. Fucking shit flying into my eyes. Shit. See, look. Don't force it. You know, you have to ask yourself, how can I just simply start executing things with intention just to say, you know what, I'm going to start painting that picture. Okay? I'm just going to start. And what I get from this is that you just have to start by wanting to be, right? Wanting to be different than how you've been. Wanting to be a better person. Just wanting to be. You don't have to know what you're going to become eventually. You just have to know that you want to be better than you were today. Better than when you were yesterday. Better than the shit that you say is constantly holding you back from being in that better picture. And with Sagittarius, the archer, right? So many of us listen to other people tell us where to point our arrow where to point our intention. And for me, I feel to tell you, it's like, don't let nobody tell you where your true intentions lay for yourself. Okay? Point that arrow where you need to point it for yourself so that you don't miss your mark. Because sometimes we'll aim too low and sometimes we'll aim too high because people want to tell us where we should point our intentions and point whatever have you. And that's why we keep missing the target. We keep missing the mark. And sometimes up until this point, we've had to miss many times. You have to miss many times because we let people influence us too much. We let them just negatively impact the picture that we want to paint, and now it's not time to let them impact that no more. Stop letting people that have no impact on your life impact your decisions and impact the picture that you're painting. You know, when you were in school and you started painting a picture, and your classmate or somebody looked over and be like, "Ooh, what you drawing?" Just tell them mind their business. Okay? Positive influences in your life, and even sometimes, right? Sometimes we have to, there are so many lizards outside today. I need to look up what that is. I've seen 3 lizards since I started reading. We need to know what the spirit meaning of lizards are. So for y'all, look that up. It might mean something to the reading. Animals are big with me. So, and look, this one lizard just hopped up onto the plant where the other lizard was. He's like, "You don't see me creeping in? Influence." But the other one hopped off. This is so crazy, y'all. Anyway. Don't let, oh, see this measurement? Don't let anyone influence you off the ledge. Don't let no one push you off. Don't let nobody stand in your space. But if someone is negatively impacting your space, distance yourself. Only surround yourself with people of a positive influence of where you're trying to go and be painted into that picture later on. So if you know that you're going to a new level that requires you surrounding yourself in a picture of people that are already on that level, paint yourself into that level. And those who don't understand where you're going, take them out the picture. Maybe later on you'll paint them back in, but not today. Not if they're not supporting where you're going. Let's pull an angel card. Divine order. Archangel Raguel. Everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see underlying order. Sometimes that picture that you painted, it had to be a giant fucking mess up until this point, at least in your eyes, for you to see what it took for you to appreciate the bigger picture, right? So many times we think also too that our life has been a giant mess up until this point. You're exactly where you needed to be. Like I said, all of those problems that you faced, all of those tribulations, all of those things, they have been a part of you now coming to the solution of now understanding more about what you don't want in your life, so what you do want. So going forward today, if we are to set an intention of a ritual, I want it to be where you want to go and where you want to be and who you want to be, and nothing anymore with what you don't want to be. Okay, so when we paint the picture, we're not including shit that we don't want anymore. We're only going to include shit that we do want. Okay, so today I kind of want to focus on our eyes and our vision, and I want to ask Spirit to allow us to have the clairvoyance to see the bigger picture of what it is that we are going to be painting, of where we want to see ourselves and how we want to see ourselves in our bigger picture of our life. And only allowing us to be able to envision that in a way so that in the moment, anything that is not a part of that picture, we can have discernment to see through. And not be able to pick up things anymore that no longer serve that bigger picture. Whether it be the things within ourselves, the traits that we no longer need to pick up and that we need to set aside and put down, or the things from other people that are no longer of service to the beauty that we're trying to paint in our life. Because right now, our intentions are like a paintbrush that we are using to paint and to illustrate what it is that we want. The paintbrush is like the magic wand. And so therefore we are painting and we are using every intention of the stroke, okay? Every stroke has to have intention. Every stipple, every brush. So going forward in our everyday lives, we ask to have discernment of being very mindful of how we use our brush and how we paint our picture and the types of things that we want to make sure that we allow to paint the most beautiful picture. We don't want to paint by force, and we don't want very intentful. A lot of logic. With the Emperor card coming up reverse, it's using our logic to make the best rational decision, not being overly forceful or resistant and harmful to ourselves and our decisions, and not letting other people influence our intentions and our decisions and our strokes. With that being said, we ask for our ancestors, our guides, to allow us to continue to have inspiration surrounding us to guide our painting of our picture, and so that we can finally have ourselves painted in also, and to have that so we can have happiness, so that we can have harmony, so that we can have union within self. With all of that being said, Ashe. It is hot as a bitch out here. I am sweating like a fat girl in church. Whew. So, like I said, my name is The Trap Witch. You can find me on Instagram, The Trap Witch. My website is www.thetrapwitch.com. I facilitate healing sessions. They are 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, and then I do have a bundle option. If you would like to book a session, like I said, they are a combination of intuitive reading, counsel, mentorship. It's all of these things. It's just guidance. I am a guide here to help guide you through your own darkness, because sometimes we need other people to point out, to confirm what it is that we need to do and help come up with a solution. And, you know, they say teamwork makes the dream work. Sometimes we just need a little bit of assistance, a little bit of help, and that will give us the confidence that we need to stay accountable and feel like we can stay responsible with what it is that we desire for our life. Because remember, nothing is too big for you to want to have in this life. All you have to do is apply yourself, be a positive influence to yourself, and then allow you being a positive influence to bring all the resources that you need through the tools that you already have. And so sometimes we just have to have someone allow us to sharpen our tools with theirs. And so I do feel like I'm learning my tools and mastering my tools day by day. And if you want to sharpen your tools with mine, come on, www.thetrapwitch.com. So with that being said, I wish you love, light, healing, continued prosperity, abundance, and happy full moon in Sagittarius. And I hope that you can go ahead and start painting that picture and start relinquishing everything that it is that you don't need anymore with where you're trying to go in the bigger, better picture of where you're trying to be in. All right? Love and light, y'all. Peace.